Hello everyone, my name is Bryce Paden, and this is my family involvement mini case. So a quick little summary and going through the main characters in the story. Joe Pham is a student. Mr. and Mrs. Pham are the parents of Joel. Mr. Rolnick is the teacher who begins to get frustrated. Miles just happens to be the student that gets paired up with Joel. And Mrs. Smith is a fellow teacher of Mr. Rolnick and tends to be a good active listener and give him some advice on the topic. So what has happened so far? Mr. Rolnick believes that family involvement is an integral part of student success. Mr. Rolnick understood it could be difficult for most parents to get involved, working with different jobs or that had other limitations. Joel Pham and his parents were ethnically Vietnamese, but language didn't seem to be a barrier. Mr. Rolnick was frustrated with the lack of family involvement with Joel Pham's parents, as they don't have some of those limitations. And Mr. Rolnick talked with a fellow teacher, Ms. Smith, about some ways and why they weren't getting involved. Okay, so what factors could keep them from volunteering? Various amounts of factors could keep people from actually volunteering or stepping into the school. One could just be, they mentioned in the case, which was just prior experience with the school. Maybe somebody that lives in the community that didn't have a great time in the district when they were there, and their kids are going through. Maybe they don't feel like they were treated very well, so they're, why would they do anything for them? Nervousness, could be new to the district, not feeling comfortable, no confidence in what they're supposed to be doing. Maybe they don't know anybody. Small businesses, and doesn't have time. Everybody likes to think that whenever you become your own boss and work for yourself, that everything's so easy. And in my little experience, it's not the case. They work just as hard or harder than everybody else, and tend to never have as much time. And then sometimes, they really don't care or don't think it's important that they are involved with the school or with the students. In my personal experience, I don't have much experience dealing with this for school, but I do a little bit with coaching. Being a coach and being really active in my community, I do feel like Mr. Rolnick sometimes, when it's like, hey, I know that you can help with our dinner this weekend, or I know that you could help serve meal on Friday night, but you have to take it with a grain of salt and look for ways that you can get people to be involved in any way that they can. Okay, so Mr. Rolnick and other teachers and administrators should do what? I believe they should host events at the beginning of the school year, get people excited and build the relationships. Encourage two-way communication with parents. They need to be ready to go, understand that this is an important part of what we do at school, and that they need to be communicating with parents. It doesn't have to be daily or weekly, but they need to make the effort and put it out there, because I think you'll have a great response to it. Be open to understanding prior relationships with past students and focus on positives going forward. What I mean by that is if there was somebody that had a rough experience at school with a certain district, and then they're back, you have to kind of understand where they're coming from, because most likely it had nothing to do with you. It was somebody who's probably long gone, and you don't want that prior notion to cloud any judgment of what they think of the district or what they think of you as their teacher, or student's teacher. And find other ways to incentivize volunteers or family involvement. You have to constantly. This is a weird age that we're growing up in right now, and lots of parents, they're not going to come out and do something if they don't feel like they need to, or there's nothing there to gain from it. So it's kind of sad at times, but at the same time, if you want them to put effort out, then we have to kind of do something in return. Okay, so how would staff know that this is a barrier, and how could we eliminate it? So it is difficult for staff to know how someone is feeling and why they aren't wanting to be involved and not feeling interested in the school. In a small school district, especially like I work in, word of mouth from parents could tell a story on why they feel the way they do, or why they are or aren't involved. And also you can create surveys or town hall meetings. We do these for various things. Our district's getting ready to do one for capital outlay levy, and they seem to be an easy way to gain information from the community and the parents, as well as the town hall meetings, where it's just an open forum, with information. But just if you had something like that to get to know the parents, I think that'd be great. A few ways to help eliminate, and I kind of put this in here, that I'm not sure that you could ever fully eliminate it, this type of situation from happening. There's always going to be somebody who just stands aside and lets somebody else be the volunteer, claims that they're too busy, and don't really, whether they mean to or not, don't want to be involved. But need to continue to focus on the positive interactions with parents or community members. Focus on the ones that do. Focus on the ones that are. Welcome parents and community members into the buildings to volunteer in other ways to get them in. It doesn't just have to be, hey, we need your help with this week. Very well could be find them easier tasks to do with a group or somebody that they may know to help get them in there and feel engaged and wanted. And lastly, I just kind of said that to engage with two-way communication. It's one of the easiest things to do, or one of the hardest things to do, but can be the most effective. Okay. And Mr. Rolnick assumed the Fallons weren't interested in their son's education. Some other ways to get involved other than just volunteering. You can keep contact with teachers and administrators, keep up to date with your student and the things that are going on in the school district itself. Show support at academic events and even athletic events. I didn't put that on there, but athletic events as well. At our district, we do end of the quarter assemblies for students, and we recognize students that hit high achievements in attendance and academically, which I think is great. Be present at parent-teacher conferences and an active member in that. And it can also be a part of booster clubs, PTO, or even being a homeroom parent. Something that you come in on Halloween and come up with something to do for the kids. And my personal experience, I struggled to get parents. Our district struggled to get parents to parent-teacher conferences one year. And so, like I mentioned earlier about incentivizing people to do things, in our junior high, we struggled getting them there. So they had a drawing for a TV for those that showed up. So interesting way, but here we are. And thank you very much.